You don't have to say that you're all powerful or that you're a giant. You just have to walk in aligned. You just have to be who you are the best way you can be. You are the only one that can do the best at being you. Matter of fact, you're the only one that can really be you. Other people can pretend, but they can't be you. Hey everybody, Jeff here. Before we get started, if you're getting value from the podcast, please take a moment to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For those of you listening on podcast apps, don't forget to rate and review. Your support really helps the show reach more people, and for that, I am truly grateful. Now let's dive in. Welcome to the Point with Jeff Spikes. Hello and welcome to the Point. It is another beautiful day. Exciting to be here and work with you and share with you ideas and thoughts of how you can move forward within your strengths. You are unique in your own right, based on how you approach life, on how you approach getting things done, and in your perception of things, and how you perceive things and the choices that you make with it. So we repeat this over and over, and the idea is that you can evaluate where you are in your sense of choice and your ability to make choices in any given situation, and move yourself further towards the realm of being at full and complete and total choice. And within that, you can then really gain self-awareness around what perspective you have and why, and add different things to it, add different filters to it, look at it from different angles, and then consider different approaches. And if you gather data on what's great about you, it sounds a little self-centered to some people, right? But really the idea is that you can't take care of anybody else if you don't take care of yourself first. So the airline adage of putting your mask on yourself first before you put it on your children. Now, if you're at the show, you're forward thinking, you are advanced, you're looking for new ways to do things, your possibilities are endless, and thoughts of what actually could get done are beyond what most people think. And one of the things you may not have heard in a while, and one of the things you might not have remembered, was that the Wright brothers did not have pilot's licenses, right? So the Wright brothers were pioneering what it meant to fly, to make flight. You're pioneering, you're doing something new. And the beauty of it is today, in this day and age, is that if you're trying to show up, if you're really looking at what's best about you in the gentlest of ways, in the most nuanced of ways, in the obscure, the ways that you never thought of, sometimes the smallest shift makes the biggest difference. And sometimes the most egregious thing, sometimes the most difficult thing to think about, or the one thing everyone's always bugging you about or telling you about, or that you always struggle with most, is the most amazing thing about you. It's just changing how you use it as a tool. And if you're not in a place of great choice, consider removing the strategies from your identity and stay at full choice to be flexible with the strategies you use, and make your identity about what you really value in what you'd like to accomplish. And we can move a lot further and faster with that. So this episode is really about your energy. So why start an episode that's about your energy with that? It's because your energy is your edge. Your energy, if you own it before you enter a room, if you own it before you begin a project, if you own your energy before you even begin your thoughts, you're going to own it in a better way. Even if your energy is feeling low one day, if you own that, then you can respond and act accordingly to bring yourself into a situation in a way that's still going to be productive and make things happen. You don't have to say that you're all powerful or that you're a giant. You just have to walk in aligned. You just have to be who you are the best way you can be. You are the only one that can do the best at being you. Matter of fact, you're the only one that can really be you. Other people can pretend, but they can't be you. And if you're showing up in the full mimicking or mirroring of other people and what they've taught you and how they've said to do things without making it your own, there's a very good possibility some things work and they're actually just fine and natural. It's not a big deal. Other things feel like a grind. They feel difficult. They feel challenging. And not owning your energy, having maybe a lack of confidence or not thinking maybe you shouldn't change it, and just not allowing yourself just to be you might have you staying stuck in the way of doing it. And maybe it was the way you were taught. Our schools have a tendency to teach us that this is the only way to do this. You do it this way or you don't get a grade. Well, that may be true. But once you get the grade, you can then turn around and do whatever it is you need to. So energy doesn't fool you, doesn't lie. In sports, in football, we used to learn, they said, watch the hips, watch the core, watch where that's going when you're looking at a runner and you want, when you want to hit the carrier. Watch that, because that tells you where they're moving. So energy's like that. Energy doesn't lie. Watch the energy, feel the energy. It's clear and it's honest. You are feeling some form of way, and energy is not all about feeling. Sometimes you can be feeling one way and still come in with an energy that's different because of how you hold yourself and how you breathe and how you speak when you do. People can feel your energy before you use words, before you speak. So prepare it, prepare that alignment, prepare what you're doing. Come up with the rituals or the traditions. Some people shake it off before they go into a room. And we're taking this a step further because we're also looking at this before you do anything, before you start a project, to focus and to spend time, to do work bursts, or to spend, there's different things that you might do. Set that up in advance. Before we end the year, we talk about or before we start the new year, we end the existing year, and same type of thing. There's preparatory things. And in our preparation, we can already be, in our finishing, we can already be preparing for what's next. So as you're moving out of one thing into another, shake it off. Move into what that next best thing is to do. Don't worry so much about all the details of how to get it done. Just get your energy right? If you want to have presence, you want to work on that field of energy around you, not the details of your resume and not the details of what's happening. Walking into a room knowing that it's okay to listen more than talk, and that you can listen longer than you think you can before you actually respond to anything, can be really valuable, unless you're walking into a room to actually speak, and then everything you're going to say is already naturally within you because you've been prepared. So 3 quantum anchors. Let's talk about this really quick. It's know who you are, right? This is who I am, clarity. This is what I'm good at. As we walk through strengths discovery and do the designing strengths process, that's one of the things that we'll get into really quickly, right? You'll immediately learn. You work with any strengths coach, you do the Clifton strengths or you do organic strengths, you start looking at spiritual gifts in a church. Most of these ways of looking at yourself and what makes you great, how God designed you and wired you to be amazing, is about who I am, clarity. This is who I am. You will always get this from me. You can count on it. And I don't work well like this, right? So there's things that are just givens and knowns, and know what that is. Know what you stand for. Know what you believe in. Know what your purpose in that moment is, right? This is what I bring. This is how I show up, and be of service. Be clear that what you're to do there is to be of service. And if you're in a position where you have others serving you, and if you're not aware of what servant leadership is, then you can still lead, but be of service. What do the people around you need, and how can you be of service to them? Someone I'm working with told me one of the most powerful stories I had heard about this type of idea, and it was with a very high-powered Catholic health system. And the CEO was a nun that was she had the energy and the feel that when she walked in the room, everyone could feel that authority and that strength and power from her. She was very calm, very kind. And he showed up to the meeting, and she made him a cup of coffee. So the CEO walks in and makes him a cup of coffee and welcomes him there. And he was about to propose a pitch and, say why his company should be working for them. And what a powerful opportunity to still be of service. That's owning your energy, knowing who you are. It doesn't make sense to what if you're walking in the room and knowing you are is a bulldozer. There's very few opportunities where that's absolutely necessary. And if you're in a role where that's one of the things that you need to do, then you're owning your energy anyway. So it's a given that that's what that is. That's how you do it. So let's use these same principles for the good, for everything that we're doing, right? The energy that you put out is what you attract. What we focus on is what grows. And what we exude, what we put out in energy is what we draw from others. So understand that there's a constant flow where we're mirroring, where we're reflecting what's going on in us, and that we're bringing that in. So next time you walk into a room, don't think about impressing anybody. Just think about being the most absolutely aligned, clear-directed, honest person you can be. Honest in who you are, right? Just that is magnetic. At any volume or any tone or any swagger or lack of swagger, that is magnetic when you're fully in your zone of being you. The energy you have speaks louder than words, right? So I know that you can sit if your energy needs to be in a calmness and a serenity and bring level set. Walk in and bring that. Don't let anything shake that. And if it's clean, confident, and clear, the right room's open, the right door's open, and you're there. So share this with someone that you're talking with. Share this with someone who's about to walk into something big and help them out. And you don't need to force anything. You just need to be aligned within yourself and show up, right? The question that comes to mind more than anything that is the most valuable question to ask when you're in a position of wanting to consider what energy you're walking in with is, who do I want to be in this person's life? Who do I want to be in this room I'm walking into? Not who I want to be for me. Who do I want to be for them? Right? What do I want? Because we can be who we are, but if the perception from others is off, then you won't feel as successful as if they're feeling it as on. And the best way to do that is to really be you. So again, it's the same concept of being the best version of you that you can be, because no one else can do that. I'm going to end this on this note about with energy, and really consider this idea. You may have heard this before if you listen to this show. There's the idea of being the best version of you that you can be. And there's the idea of working on yourself and giving yourself the time and space to actually be that. And there's the idea of selfishness and self-centeredness and unselfishness. And what are those two? How do those things relate? And taking care of yourself first so that you can also then help take care of others, be of service to others. You may think that getting in the best condition of your life, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, would make you egotistical or better than others. But the reality is, as you push through these layers to be the best version of you, what happens is it's completely reversed. It's absolutely that you gain compassion for others because you do the work. You do the work on you to be that. And when you look for this, and when you find the nuance of your own genius, and then you look for it in others, it's actually the most humble thing that you can do, because it's a calling, it's a design, it's the way you were wired. It's not necessarily just what you want. So it's almost an obedience to the natural flow of what's meant to be in your life. And when you see that in others, then there is no longer this ability. The idea of 3 people or 4 people working together to clean a yard, one person's better with one piece of equipment than the other. One person's better at digging, one person's better at pulling, one person's better at filling bags and getting things to the street. And it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It all gets done. And if you didn't have the team of 4, you would have taken a heck of a lot longer, and it would have been a whole lot harder. So understanding that everyone has a role, and no matter what it is, and everyone matters. Everyone matters. You walk into a restaurant and the glass in the front doors, the glass aren't clean. And then you walk in the front and the floors are dirty. It's a different feel and a different perspective. So how important is the person who makes sure they always keep that front door clean? Because that activity is important. And how important is the person that's actually putting their heart and effort into cleaning that floor? Everything matters. So you showing up as you and being the best version of you, owning your energy when you walk into a room and really feeling confident of how important you are and how important your approach and your perspective are to helping solve problems and make the world a better place. That's actually where everything lives and where we find the most, because everyone has a piece and everyone has a part and everyone has an incredible value in doing so. So it's a call to action, it's a duty, and it's an honor to show up in that way. DM me if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, want to work through any of this stuff. Lots more to come as we start shifting the nature of the show and we start interviewing some people and talking about their greatness in different things that we've experienced and change. And really look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing episode of The Point with me, Jeff Spikes. Please visit jeffspikes.com for everything you would need to know to engage with me offline. And lastly, thank you for your time, your attention, and your consideration. This is The Point.